Today marked a significant milestone for the U.S. Army as it revealed the inaugural batch of M10 Booker Combat Vehicles during a dedication ceremony at Aberdeen Proving Ground. The unveiling signals the transition of the M10 program into the production and deployment phase. High-ranking officials, including Douglas R. Bush, Senate-confirmed Assistant Secretary of the Army for Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology, Major General Glenn A. Dean, III Program Executive Officer for Ground Combat Systems, and Brigadier General Jeffrey A. Norman, Director of the Next Generation Combat Vehicle Cross-Functional Team, attended the ceremony. The dedication of the M10 Booker Combat Vehicle paid tribute to the valiant service and sacrifice of two distinguished soldiers, Private Robert D. Booker, a Medal of Honor recipient from World War II, and Staff Sgt. Stevon A. Booker, a Distinguished Service Cross recipient from Operation Iraqi Freedom. Their bravery and commitment to duty were commemorated by their family members during the event.
Your family's sacrifices can never be repaid.
Oh, what a wonderful day. And first, let me thank everyone who did all the hard work to have this amazing ceremony come together, and our color guard and all the other folks who did all the work to bring us here together to honor these two American heroes. So please, round of applause for the team. So thank you for extending me the humbling, very humbling, yet exciting opportunity to honor the brave and selfless legacies of two outstanding soldiers. World War II Medal of Honor recipient Private Robert D. Booker and Staff Sgt. Stevon A. Booker awarded the Distinguished Service Cross after succumbing to injuries sustained in Operation Iraqi Freedom. So the M10 Combat Vehicle, formerly known as the Mobile Protected Firepower Program, is an extension of their proud legacy. It is named for two gallant patriots who made the ultimate sacrifice while fighting for our nation. And as our wonderful introductory speaker mentioned, we have a huge range of family members here from both families, which is wonderful. But in particular, I wanted to welcome Miss Rosella Booker Hirsch, Private Robert Booker's sister. Ma'am, thank you for being here. And Miss Freddie Jackson, Staff Sergeant Stevon Booker's mother. Thank you very much both for being here, leading your big family groups, and allowing us to honor your heroes today. Also attending, of course, as mentioned, are numerous other family members, soldiers for 164, the 3rd Infantry Division, and then many other distinguished leaders with a connection to these two warriors and heroes either in the past or today. The attendance of so many and such important guests from across the nation is a testament to the love and high esteem for which these two heroes are held by those who knew them. Now, many of you are familiar with the exemplary accomplishments of Private and Staff Sergeant Booker, but they bear repeating today in a little more detail. On June 9th, 1942, Robert Booker answered his nation's call to defend freedom during World War II. He joined the U.S. Army at Fort Crook, Nebraska. After basic training, he was assigned to the 133rd Infantry Regiment of the 34th Infantry Division, which was fighting in Tunisia as part of the Allied North Africa campaign. On April 9th, 1943, his unit was fighting at the Fonduk Pass in Tunisia. 2 enemy machine guns began firing on his unit. Despite this hail of bullets, Private Booker crossed nearly 200 yards of open field, the length of 2 football fields, carrying a machine gun and a box of ammunition. Once he reached his intended location, Private Booker set up his machine gun and began firing on the enemy. After being shot and injured, he continued firing his weapon, eventually destroying the first enemy machine gun. As he turned to fire on the second enemy machine gun, he was shot again, this time fatally. Before he died, however, Private Booker continued to encourage his squad and help direct their fire. So Private Booker acted without regard for his own safety. His initiative and courage is an example of the highest standard of self-sacrifice and fidelity to duty. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor and Purple Heart in 1944. Staff Sergeant Stevon A. Booker enlisted in the Army in 1987. He served in Operation Desert Storm, and then later, Operation Iraqi Freedom. During Operation Iraqi Freedom, he served with the 164 Armored Battalion, part of the 3rd Infantry Division. During the now famous Thunder Run, Staff Sergeant Booker's unit led an offensive armored attack into Baghdad on April 5, 2003, which subsequently resulted in the collapse of the Saddam Hussein regime. During the raid, Staff Sergeant Booker's platoon came under heavy small arms and rocket-propelled grenade fire. Staff Sergeant Booker reacted immediately. He notified his chain of command of the situation, returned fire with his mounted machine gun, and assured his crew that they would make it to their objective. When his machine gun malfunctioned, Staff Sergeant Booker disregarded his personal safety and took a position exposed, prone, on the top of his tank, engaging the enemy with his personal weapon. While still engaged by heavy enemy fire, he maintained communication with his platoon, accurately destroyed an enemy vehicle, effectively protected his platoon flank. For 5 miles under fire, Sergeant Booker continued to engage the enemy and protect his platoon while remaining exposed. He was struck several times and killed during this period. He was posthumously awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for his heroic actions that day in combat. Private Booker and Staff Sergeant Booker both took great risks to ensure their fellow soldiers were supported by effective fire in the thick of battle. The M10 Booker is precisely designed to fill this role, to supply devastating firepower in support of infantry in the thick of the fight. It is light enough to be transported where needed. It is fast enough and agile enough to accompany troops anywhere they go. It is powerful enough with its 105 millimeter cannon to destroy any enemy it encounters. Getting M10 Booker into the hands of our soldiers has been a high priority for the previous administration Army leadership and this administration's Army leadership. Important continuity. I want to thank a very large, very spread out, diverse Army team of professionals for getting this job done in remarkable time. The team at Program Executive Office Ground Combat Systems, led by Major General Glenn Dean, who'll speak briefly, worked closely with the industry on this project. They also worked in concert with the Next Generation Combat Vehicles cross-functional team, currently led by Brigadier General Jeffrey Norman, who will also speak. And that teamwork showed that the Army, when we are all pointed in the same direction, we are unified, and we are working together, can do anything. The whole team put the M10 Booker through a rapid and intensive development process, employing competitive bidding, thorough prototyping, and very importantly, all along the way, hands-on evaluation by our soldiers who will operate this terrific vehicle. And thanks to the use of new authorities from Congress, and it's a pleasure to have several staff members from Congress here, they were able to take the M10 Booker from the start of the program to low-rate production in just 4 years. That is less than half the time it normally takes, about 10 years, to accomplish such a task. And here we are today. This brings us to this fantastic moment where we can honor these two heroes, but also honor the thousands of people in the Army, of today's Army, who worked so hard to get this vehicle on the edge of being deployed to our combat troops. And so far, we already have received 3 production models of the 350 total planned vehicles ready to go in the hands of our soldiers. So like Private Booker and Staff Sergeant Booker, the M10 is proving quick to join the fight and protect soldiers. Like both of those heroes, it will be right there in combat, lending potent firepower to protect soldiers and blast a path forward to victory. So today, we formally dedicate the M10 Booker in Private Booker and Staff Sergeant Booker's honor. May its performance on the battlefield keep their legacies and memories alive. Thank you.
Fire. On the way. Target, ceasefire, bunker destroyed.
The M10 Booker Combat Vehicle is the U.S. Army's newest tracked ground combat vehicle and will integrate into the Infantry Brigade Combat Team. It is poised to enhance Infantry Brigade's capabilities by providing improved survivability and early threat detection without compromising maneuverability in diverse terrains. The M10 Booker Combat Vehicle provides overwhelming precision, firepower to infantry brigades, allowing it to maintain momentum and freedom of action against enemy forces. The platform will provide greater survivability, the ability to identify threat systems earlier and at greater distances, and will not restrict movement in off-road terrain. The M10 Booker Combat Vehicle will also allow soldiers to move at a faster pace, protecting the assaulting force.